June the 21st, 1968, the Dome Pavilion, Brighton. A local group called the Span prepares for its first big concert. None of them has undergone any formal musical education, but if they gamble successfully in the 20th century phenomenon known as pop, they could become millionaires before they're 25. Tonight's audience includes promoters, managers and agents, manipulators in the pop industry who could give the Span that initial shove needed to lodge them into the mainstream of the business. This daunting prospect is summed up by their manager, Mike Clayton. Dave Cash, disc jockey.
The Mike Stuart Span is a good group. The Mike Stuart Span could make #1 with the right song. The Mike Stuart Span could be the biggest thing in this country since sliced bread.
My name's Stuart. I'm the vocalist, and my ambition in life is to be successful.
He must believe that the Mike Stuart Span can one day take over from the Beatles. And then it's up to the Mike Stuart Span to say, our act has got to be so great, and people at this moment are not grabbing on and saying, aren't they great? They're saying, yes, they're all right, but they're not saying, aren't they great? And until they say, aren't they great, people will not pay large sums of money to see them. They play their instruments well, they sing well, they look good.
My name is Brian. I'm the guitarist of the group and do quite a bit of singing too. I'm self-conscious of my height.
They are going to have to find a record, they're going to have to find a song the same way that any other group finds a song. Because until they get that magic hit record in the hit parade, they're not going to get the big television shows like Top of the Pops and D-Time and all like that. And if they don't get exposure, then they're not going to get the big money.
My name's Roger, and I play bass guitar with the Span, and sometimes I sing. My ambition's to own a racing car and perhaps drive it.
No matter how you do it, whether you've got to crawl through drain pipes backwards or do any stupid thing, get that hit. And when you've got the first one, get the second one. When you get the second one, you can relax. They're in the market for at least 18 months to 2 years. And in that time, they can make anything up to £15,000, £20,000 a year.
I'm Roscoe and I'm the drummer of the Span. At the moment I haven't any definite ambitions as to what to do.
The concert. First house, first song. Their first big chance to show who they are.
You gotta get out of your head. You gotta step out of your mind.
I've never heard of them. No.
Never heard of it.
Nothing. The what, dear?
The Span.
Now, what do you mean, the Span?
They're the Mike Stuart Span, of course, and they're a very good group, and they're really going to hit the top in the next 12 months. I really guarantee that.
No, honestly, what is a span? You're not talking a span of life, are you?
Honestly, they're fantastic. It's taken me a year to build them up like this, and I've got Brian on guitar there. He's an absolute knocker. Roger backs it up so well on the bass, really inventive bass player, and then you've got Roscoe at the back, a really good drummer. And, you know, as I say, we've had a lot of things happening for us. We've been getting a lot of press publicity. We've got a very good publicity agent who's, well, we chose him because of the stuff he'd done for the Herd, in fact.
By cajoling, arguing, we get press people down to listen to them. And then hope that's impressed them enough for us to follow it up with a bit more chat. And that's basically what my job is, chat. They listen and they say, yes, good group.
I keep saying this really good bit, but they are. I've hand-picked these fellas over a year. And now everything's here. And this is their first concert. They're on with The Herd and Scott Walker and Dave Cash's comparing, and you know, it's great. It's caused a lot of publicity, a lot of a stir. Everybody's coming down here from the trades, and you know, we're hoping tonight we're going to smash them and really start the bandwagon rolling. By the end of 1968, I want them to be earning $350 a night at least.
And how are you going to do that?
We're going to have records in the charts.
Yeah. very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Last night was absolutely fantastic, especially the second house, because the audience appreciation was so much better than anywhere we've ever had before, particularly for Brighton, being a local group. But principally, there were lots of agents and newspaper people down, and they were the ones who were showing a tremendous amount of interest in the group. And because of this, we're pretty sure that from now on, we're on the upward path.
The group wouldn't get anywhere unless we had a good manager to get behind us. So we talked to a few people in Brighton and other groups and that, and Mike's name cropped up. We went to see him, and he was looking for a group well like us who wanted to get to the top like this, and he took us over.
Well, Mike is everything that a manager should be, I think. Is in all the years that I've been doing, is the best one I've ever found as regards pushing you, pushing other people, and doing the things that should be done. He helps us, and really is just what we need.
Our earnings per week vary so much, it's difficult to work out an average, but probably, I should say, about £6-7 a week, I think.
Well, cut the wages at 100%. We then get 12.5%, which amounts to 50. The other 50 is then 25% to him, and the other 25% is put in the bank.
Well, I'm rather rash with my money, so it would be wise for somebody to look after some of it for me, probably the manager.
The contract says that we're under complete management from him for 5 years. We mustn't break this without a mutual agreement between us, unless any other circumstances arise, whereas he might have to drop us completely for any reason.
I want, quite honestly, nothing but the best, so if I can afford it, I'd like to spend it on luxuries of every sort.
The box office take at last night's concert grossed the promoters several £1,000s, and for the Span, £4 7 and 6 each. And even that's not all profit.
Out of that came sort of expenses for the day. We were rehearsing all day and our lunch. Myself had a new set of strings, that's another £1. I think somebody had some new valves and amplifier that day, that's another £3. So really, yeah, that's money sort of gone already.
Oh, I think as all parents, they were against it to start with, and after I talked them round to it, they could see possibilities.
Radio 1, Emperor Roscoe.
On Radio 1 and 2 at 12.
The home of drummer Roscoe, real name Gary Murphy.
We weren't very keen on Gary going into the pop business in the first place. And they seem to be getting on quite nicely.
His main ambition to get somewhere in the pop world and also provide for us.
We'd like to buy a nice little house or whatever we like. We'd rather like a bungalow, wouldn't we, Joey?
Yes, I think so.
That's Emperor Roscoe today at 12.
The group is I'm sure, pretty good, without being big-headed about it. We've been told by many people of standing that we're a good group, so, why deny it? I think with this group, we could see out at least 5 years.
Before I went into the pop business full-time, I've had a series of jobs ranging from killing chickens to a civil servant. And the last one before I actually turned professional was I was training to be an ophthalmic lens technician. And that was when I actually took the plunge and did it full-time.
I think I'd like to stay in the music business if this group didn't work out. But I don't think I'd like to go back to doing anything, really.
One hopes for so much in this business that it's difficult to say, I hope with this will happen, and it will happen, but I don't know, perhaps as a group, I suppose we ought to be earning about 300 or 400 a week.
A good manager should know actually what needs to be done, and I think Mike does.
I think you can't really trust anybody in this business. It's a very hard business to be in, and I personally wouldn't trust anybody at all. You've got to be very careful, and I don't think you've got any people that you can call real friends.
You get these rumours going about in the pop business that you know, so-and-so's like that and so-and-so's bent, and because this group's got on, so-and-so must be bent because their managers are so-and-so. Oh, it's terrible, really, but...
We are thinking of signing with a new agency, possibly the Spencer Davis agency.
If you're not with the London agency, that people tend to think you're out in the sticks.
Mike Clayton, our manager, seems to think that they will do the best for us, and he's been in the business now 7 years, so he should know a bit about it. And usually in these matters we follow his judgment.
July 68, and Clayton arrives in London to negotiate the contract.
Have you got the contracts drawn up now that, you know, we've decided to come with your agency?
It'll be ready tomorrow, Mike. It's quite a long one, as you know.
Cool.
But we'll get it ready tomorrow. Dates are paid in two ways. One, either they collect cash on the night, or else we're paid by cheque after the engagement. You know, the basic minimum for an agency is 10%. But a lot of people regard that as a sort of standard fee, but it isn't. It's a minimum. Because, quite frankly, 10% of £100, which is a good fee for a group, is only £10. We've negotiated Mike for 15, which we're very happy with, and it gives us the incentive to do that bit extra that we wouldn't do for just a straight agency 10%.
And we're,
we book and we do our best, but the extra 5 gives us, a chance to get at it, which is
make a profit and therefore want to go out and do it. What can we do about, for example, getting in touch with Colin Charman for Simon D's show and Johnny Stewart for Top of the Pops? I mean, is this possible?
You've got to do it all yourself, so I'm expecting you to phone every producer and bug the hell out of them.
Can we get Saturday Club? I mean, can you get in touch with Keith Bateson, or do you want me to go and see the record to be out of the way?
I think it's your job to check on these individuals. I will liaise with Tommy all the time, and you'll be liaising with me, and we've just all got to go. It doesn't matter if that producer gets 5 calls in the day.
Right, Colin Charman.
Everybody. If we can get on the news, we'll get on the news, on the weather forecast, everything, any spot there is to plug that record, get it on.
Yeah. You like the record yourself, John? I mean, you played it just
It's a great record. It could be very, very big, could really be big, and it does the boys justice, it's a very commercial record. That's the first thing that struck me about them. They sing in tune, which isn't always a prerequisite with even the top pop groups, and there's an excitement to them, I think, and they're playing today's music. That's the most important thing. They're 1968. There's no question about that.
The image is good.
Yeah, the image is very good.
The aura, I think we can probably give them this extra sort of aura that a London group has.
Suppose they don't have a hit. Let's be pessimistic. If they don't have a hit, I think they'll be earning between £75, £100 a night. If they do have a hit, the sky's the limit.
It is late July and the Span's record has been cut. Clayton goes now to inquire about its release date, its prospects and its promotion.
Look at that! The bloody publicist has got Thames Television for that TV show we're doing, not the BBC. That's not the first time we've had something wrong, that's the end of his contract.
Yes, Mike. Release date is set for August the 2nd. So from now on, it's all systems go.
August the 2nd?
Yeah.
Great. Oh, I'm glad of that. Now we've got that settled. How are you going to push the record?
Well, that's a good word, push it.
Exactly. Well, it's done these days.
It is, yes. In this case, you've got a lot of things going for you. You've got your own publicist, we've got our publicist, your own promotion. I'm promoting from the company's point of view. So with everybody working on this, there should be some chance.
With this good record, how long do you think we can? How long do you think we've got to sweat on it, sort of starting to move?
Well, I think, Mike, you've got to be prepared to accept the fact that it's going to take time. It could take 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. I know it sounds like a long time.
I hope we can get a Top of the Pops plug, Tommy. That would really set the cap on a few, on a good few thousand sales to get the things rolling.
August, London, and the Span get that much sought after television appearance. An early evening pop and chat program called How It Is. Can this bring them nearer the dream of a hit record? A jackpot which can lift an unknown group from a life of small-town concerts, debts, nervous breakdowns, from a cramped existence in a clapped-out bus, their permanent home for most of the year, from abject poverty into the big time. All they have to do is produce 3 minutes of sound that will be played night and day for a few weeks, thence to disappear forever. But which must include that elusive magic ingredient that wins public approval. that separates the few hits from the many flops. Does their song have it? Even if it does, one television spot won't be enough to shoot it into the national charts. But it will help. And in September 1968, as they arrive at the BBC television studios, in a mixture of nerves and anticipation, this is all the Mike Stuart Span have.
Right, stand by, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Come on, Ford, do something, you lazy sod.
I fooled the world with my disguise. You believe it.
Well, there's this group called the Mike Stuart Span, I think that's what they're called. They rang me up one day and they said, "We have the most fantastic, sensational two-bit act you've ever seen. You cannot possibly do a television program without them." Well, that's what they all say. They're all crooks, they're all shifty, they're all sort of mean and silly, most of them, pop managers. However, they ring up and some of them are nice, they take them out to lunch. It's all a sort of fix, really. This particular record is like most of the other rubbish that's turned out by the pop world. It's ordinary, dull and silly and very predictable.
And so, after the show, how are things?
A bit duff, really, at the moment. I've got quite a few problems, unfortunately. Spencer Davis-wise, really. You know, they promised me their contract, what was it, 6 weeks ago? You were there at the time. It still hasn't arrived, and neither has any work.
Well, I feel we're taking a bit of a gamble with our life and our marriage, and with Mike being out so much of an evening and, you know, getting work and...
Well, you know, thank God I've been able to get quite a bit for them. We've got a TV show, which was tremendously hard to get. All right, so we may not have a hit in England, but if it comes out in all of the countries envisaged by Philips, which include even Japan and America, well, and Hong Kong, I mean, if we have a hit in Hong Kong, that's 25,000 sales, and it's publicity value for us even.
Well, we hope to have a good life, you know, sort of hope to make a few pennies. And
if you want to know why I keep on at it, that's, you know, it's like everything else when a man goes into business on his own. There's a possible pot of gold, I suppose, at the other end of the rainbow. It's just that, man, the rain and the sun haven't come out at the same time yet. And that's what we're waiting for. That's really what we're waiting for. It could happen, it might not.
From Tapio and Felicio, but at the line, Felicio getting up, he's nearly going to get there. At the line, it's a photo finish for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned to
Music Lovin', Dave Cash. On 247 Radio 1.
And the time is 10 minutes past 4.
Let's look into the future time. Take the tune that's gonna climb. Breaking with the sound of tomorrow.
Thank you very much. This is the brand new one by the Mike Stuart Span.
I never showed that I was lonely.
Called You Can Understand Me.
I fooled the world with my disguise.
The Mike Stuart Span is a very interesting group because, in my estimation, there are two types of groups. One type that make records over and over again, they don't mean anything, and other groups that are good enough to make the hit parade musically, but just are searching for the right sound. I don't think Mike Stuart has got the right sound this time. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I think they should have given up on this record before they actually released it, and had the Mike Stuart agency and management people, whoever behind them, had really looked at this, I'm sure they'd have found that this wasn't a hit.
Isn't that pitiful?
They seem to, you know, they go up and they say, all right, we're going to do this show, and they do it. And I've seen them in the dressing room after the show. They sort of said, oh, yeah, that's fine. Now, how much are we getting? £30 for this? And they sort of go away or whatever. Where I feel that a group, especially an unknown group, has got to not look at it from the fact that I'm earning £30 for a gig or I'm doing this. They've got to sit and think to themselves, now, did the kids go mad over us? Did they scream and yell, I've still got my shirt. Why have I got my shirt? It should be ripped off my back. And this is what they should be worrying about.
You ain't heard nothing yet.
That when the record companies send me a record, I play it. And I must play 150, 200 records a week. And out of those 250 records, I'll pick maybe 5 that I think are going to be hits. I don't feel that any disc jockey has to be paid to play a record. People take disc jockeys out to lunch, dinner, give them a bottle of scotch, I suppose, at Christmas time, this sort of thing. This is all accepted. It's part of the game, really. It's like any other sort of quirk that you might have.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen, the Mike Stuart Span, a brand new record from them called You Can't Understand Me. Will it be a hit or will it be a... It's up to you, baby.
Groovy, baby.
Just for fun.
You got a big, big mouth.
September the 28th, and the group open their own record shop in Brighton. The idea? To invest the royalties they expect to gain from their song, a record that's been on the market for a month already. But do they have anything to invest? Have they been over-optimistic?
The record hasn't been a great success in this country so far. Very honestly, due to lack of cooperation between the publisher and the general corporation, you know, the BBC.
But what he really means is...
Frankly, I didn't like the record. And privately to a few people who I could confide in said so, and these people, if they were called to court now, could say this on my behalf.
I think one big fault lay in lack of communication.
I think that he's had to spend more time with the shop, and consequently the group has suffered because of it.
Whoa, Mike's not getting us any work, or he's not doing this, that and the other. Mike's spoken to nearly every promoter in the country, man.
It was rather disappointing, you know, that we've been away for 4 weeks and to come back and to find it's all sort of all over.
He's built his hopes up of the jobs a bit too much. He sort of made it sound as if it was certain to when he shouldn't have done.
And it was all, yes, man, we're doing this, man, and, you know, we've got plays on Breakfast Special tomorrow, and Tony Blackburn, and all this scene. And when the final analysis came down to it, the work that the boys did get was as a result of us or me going to the various BBC producers and getting the broadcasts.
At the present moment, I don't think he knows what he's doing himself, let alone for us.
Well, I know that Mike did a great deal of chasing around.
Mike often has original ideas. He hasn't got that necessary capital to be able to carry them out to their fullest extent.
Well, I don't know, you've got to be just more than lucky these days.
One has to live on hope in here. One lives on the hope that the phone's going to ring and someone has a job, earning more money than they've ever earned. They're about £25 a week at the moment. Oh yeah, and it's going up.
I'm not making a lot more money at all.
For some reason, people still don't seem to know the Mike Stuart Span.
We were expecting a top-line London agency to be doing all the bloody graft. And now all of us, and it was all set for them to be doing it. And so, right, I thought, okay, it's all down to management, lads. Let's get some consolidation of the group's trials and tribulations over the last year into a record shop. Let them have a bit of extra bread and so on. And then, boom, Spencer Davis does nothing. And here we are, lumbered with the prospect of getting a record shop off the ground and of doing all the work on the roof again.
And because the record hasn't got anywhere in the charts, I mean, our booking fees for an evening don't go up.
We asked how many had been sold, and we had a figure of 260 something, I think it was, which we could hardly believe. You know, we thought it must be the first week's sale.
Oh, you know, come on, let's not be sorry for ourselves. I'm still working on it. Admittedly, it's taking longer than it ought to. I've been 2 years at the Span. I want, for my own ego's sake, to make it with the Span. Let's face it, you know. Otherwise, I'm just going to be a little has-been loser guy.
But actually, you can't say you've made any money from this record because it was a flop.
2% of 8 and 4 times 800. Not a lot, my boy.
We didn't get out all of our
We're
money.
still owed 20 quid each.
£200 we didn't get.
But
Mike had his full commission out of it. He took his out and made sure he got his.
The boys have been on the road a year now, and they've got to have something to show for it. There's so many groups come on the road and go off and have nothing. They're going to have something to show for their efforts for a long time, we hope.
At the moment, up to date, we've invested, I should think, around about £150.
I've had to get the bank overdrafts and the credits and everything to get it going, and I wouldn't take any money off them either. I wouldn't let them get to that stage.
And we've all got an equal share in the shop.
I got bloody tough with them last week. I said, look, you know, either you do what I say and you project, or let's forget the whole bloody shooting match. I'm now having to think about how to continue their career. If I'm going to entertain people who are going to give me publicity, I've got to become a long-haired, uncouth, drug-peddling bastard. And I'm Very sorry, but thank you, I'd rather be out of it.
Really, we ought to find out what's going to happen. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves, I think, in a few weeks without any work and without any manager, any agency or nothing.
So the last image didn't click. Answer? Change it. A new style means a new onslaught on the now familiar obstacle course. Coming up for Christmas, and the Span are forced to rehearse in makeshift conditions like the local youth club. They now spend more time practicing than performing in public. They try hard to learn from their mistakes. But what were their mistakes? They know their old style didn't work, but why didn't it? Were they badly handled? Did they take the wrong advice? Was it merely a case of insufficient capital to climb the first hurdles? Who in fact do they think is to blame? How do they see the future with their manager? Is it the end of the line?
It's the end of the line as far as Mike Clayton's concerned with us, and as far as any association he's had with the group.
You can know somebody for years and think that they're doing the right thing for you, and then they sort of let you down behind your back, like Clayton has.
I'd never met a manager like Mike before. And he seemed great. All the things we said about him before. Now I'd like to stuff my guitar right up his throat.
I just don't want anything to do with him, and the quicker we get out of his area, the better, you know.
I've given them an outline to my mother and father of what is going on. I don't think, perhaps they think it's as serious as it is, you know.
It's only the fact that you enjoy the business so much that it keeps a sort of ray of hope going all the time.
I've been without money for 2.5 years in groups, and I've tried and tried. Maybe it's me, but at the moment nothing's happened. This is the furthest I ever got with a group, and now things are very dodgy.
In the light of everything that's come out now about Mike, I think he just hasn't bothered to push us enough.
I can't go hanging on indefinitely, hoping and seeing people and them saying, well, I don't know, or yes, maybe next week, and can you ring back next week? And
I think either this weekend or certainly next weekend we should have something almost definite.
Well, here I am labouring once more. Since last week when Mike Clayton decided to finally have nothing to do with us. We've telephoned a number of times and the phone has been picked up the other end, but it hasn't been answered. So I don't know whether he's a bit worried of what's going to happen. And so here we are, just sort of not knowing what to do. We haven't had any share of any profits, and there's been no mention of it from Mike.
Well, so far as I am aware, with regard to the shop, we are still partners. They came round and saw me, I don't know, last Saturday morning, and were going to phone me on Monday to arrange a business evening at my flat one night this week. And so far I haven't heard from them, so, you know, if they're not interested in the shop, well, okay, I'm glad I haven't got to pay them anything. But if they want to come round and talk about it, I'm quite happy to be associated with them still. You know, like 3.5 years has suddenly walked out on me. They don't seem to think that. I guess if some guy with £3,000 had come along and said to them, now look, you know, forget Mike Clayton, I've got 3,000 here, now we make a record and I'll have the front page. Do you think they'd have worried about me? Like hell. I can't invest any more money in them because A, I haven't got it, and B, if I had it would be pouring good money after bad. I certainly haven't got it. In fact, I'm sitting here with a lot of very big problems over finance. I can't go bankrupt. If I go bankrupt, then I lose the flat, I lose everything, you know, I'm on the streets then. Stay in the pop business? No, definitely not now. This is the second group I've tried to get on to the top, and perhaps it's my character in the end. What are you supposed to do? I mean, I'm just making myself more of a bum with the agents in London for keep on trying to plug the Mike Stuart Span when they don't want to book them. It hasn't affected my marriage at all. It's like 10 years off her, I think was how she described it to me the other night. Made her 10 years younger. A calm and serenity has arrived. I shall wear a trilby hat, a bow tie, and be door bashing for some bloody clothes peg manufacturer or something, I expect. Salesman. I really wouldn't enjoy it because I've just been within this business for 8 years. I own a stamp collection, a few life policies, life insurance policies, and and a lot of my furniture. And that, you know, is about it.
I'm traipsing around all the agencies and nobody wants to know. Nobody will give us a job.
Well, if it goes on for very much longer like this, I'm afraid I'm going to have to chuck it in.
We've even had to change our name now to Leviathon.
We haven't had any work for a whole month now. We're absolutely broke. It's bloody horrible at the moment. Terrible.
Look, it's going boom, pop, boom, pop. What we do, we'll tape a verse, and then you can hear what it sounds like.
Yeah.
But take it easy.
2, 3, 4.
Early spring, and at long last a break. After weeks of waiting, idleness, and serious thoughts about chucking it all in, word has passed along the pop grapevine about them, and from out of the blue, they receive an offer from an American company. And so the same boys, but newly named Leviathan, are able to try out some of their songs in recording studios. If they go down well, there's a promise of some singles, and later an LP. Their new boss, Clive Selwood.
I don't want to be disrespectful to their previous manager or to the people that they've been with, but I think they have been certainly misinformed. Mismanaged makes them sound like a bunch of freaks who do as they're told, but I don't think that's true. I just think that they're very nice boys, and they're very ambitious, and they've tried too hard to please. The gamble is all time, and there's some money involved, some few $1,000s. Maybe 20% of the financial commitment, because then there is all the packaging things. America will send over a man, and the group will spend time pouring out their life story, and the publicist will try and turn them into glamorous creatures that every young girl wants to know whether they wear pajamas when they sleep or not. I advised them not to sign an exclusive long-term deal with any particular management, because I think the kind of deal that they would sign now, they would regret in 6 months' time, because they do have quite enormous potential. What persuaded us to sign them was no one thing that we heard, but snatches on 10 different items. So over the next 3 or 4 months, you'll really see the musical talent, and maybe then will emerge who is the superstar of the group. Until then, you don't know. In the next 3 months, they should be a lot better off financially. I'll do whatever I can to hustle the agents into giving them work, because it's in our interest that they get out and be seen, and it'll work. They'll start making some money now.
I thought you started into the ending.
Roscoe. Take it again.
We've offered them a 5-year deal, and we hope that we'll be making good records with them 5 years from now. We certainly hope that some of those records will be hits.
Look in my eyes if you don't realize what I mean. Read in my face what I'm thinking in case you should worry.
However, can Selwood promote a flat note? Can it really be a hit? Fleet Street. And the record is sent to the critics, the people whose opinion really matters, the people who cultivate public opinion, whose job it is to listen to every new release. Chris Welsh at Melody Maker. Penny Valentine at Disc. The first round of the battle is to win their approval.
It's the kind of record that could make the top 5. It could, if it gets the right kind of plugs and the right kind of exposure, but I simply don't attempt to predict chart happenings anymore. There's simply no way anybody can predict it.
I can't really see them being hits, I'm afraid.
I don't think either of them are particularly anything that I would sit up and listen to, except one side, probably, which I did play most of.
One of the 4 tracks was very good, I think, was Remember the Times, which seemed to be the strongest of the 4 tracks.
I think Remember the Times probably stands a fairly good chance of doing something.
I think that Remember the Times stands as good a chance as many records.
And so the hustle goes on. The phone calls, the plugging, the promises. Waiting for that big break. This year, next year, sometime?
Oh, hello. Are you Angela's secretary? Oh, yeah. 2 weeks running, Angela had the Leviathan record in Remember the Times. And 2 weeks, Kenny's taken it out. And I wonder if you could tell me why. Is it because Kenny doesn't like it, or...? Uh-huh. I did discuss it with her last week, and she felt it wasn't because Kenny didn't like it was just a matter of time, but, you know. Really? Okay, well, would you tell her I love her and ask her to put it in again, please? That's kind of you. Thank you. Goodbye. Kenny probably doesn't like it. I'll try Colin Sharman at the top of the pops. It's very hard to get plays at the moment. Started off, we had a really excellent first weekend with 4 or 5 plays. That probably sounds pitiful, but it's a lot of plays for a new record by a new group. And then it just went dead. Hello, is Colin about? It's Clive Selwood. Clive Selwood. That's Clive, S-E-L. Is he? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'll call him again. I'm plugging my group Leviathan I discussed with Colin last week. Leviathan. Thank you kindly. Bye-bye. 4497. Thank you. Hello, darling. It's Clive Selwood. Hello. Oh, okay. Okay. Are you going to play our Leviathan record this week? Yeah, sure. Is he really? Oh, well, tell him I love him, you know.
So here now, Leviathan end tonight's lineup for us with a piece written by their lead singer, Stuart Hobday. It's called Remember the Times.
They ought to pack it up. You'd be better off back on the building sites. If you're going into pop these days, you've got to have the right attitude. You've got to be a guitarist, a singer, a personality, a businessman, an accountant, a taxman. You've got to be the lot. And that's it.
I think I know why you did it, presumably publicity. But any regrets at having done it?
The film?
Hmm.
No, none at all. No.
Really?
No, none at all. It's, I mean, how many people in the country can actually say they've actually got on film a slice of their lives, and an important slice of their lives? I have no regrets of that at all.
And it's not a slice that makes you squirm today?
Oh, only in some of the things that we said and our naivety, but no. No, not really.
What was so naive?
Oh, just the way we went into the whole business. The way we were carefully manipulated out of an extra 5% in the middle of that by agents. Not that we knew anything about that, of course.
But were you ever in danger of earning that extra 5%?
Possibly not. No. No. The music business was like that. It was full of groups of young guys who were attracted by the lure of the music, the pop world. You were somebody if you were in a group.
Did it feel glamorous, or was it rather seedy?
We used to go abroad for 3 or 4 weeks, and really big gigs, a lot of work, reasonable money for a change. Then we used to come straight home off the ferry, sort of 5 o'clock in the morning at Newhaven or wherever, or Dover, and drive straight down that little pub in Port Slade and knock on the door at 10 o'clock when they opened in the morning and go up to this horrible little grotty room and rehearse. And that's one extreme to the other, as I remember.
But it didn't produce the fortune?
Not yet.
What's your job now?
I'm a building contractor.
Well, here I am labouring once more.
So 20 years has settled you. You've got an income and...
for a change, yeah.
Profession and family?
Yeah, a son of 12.
That's it?
Yes, no more family. A wife, of course.
The same wife?
The same wife for the last 16 years, yeah. Gosh. Yeah, she'll be pleased that I remember that.
What about you, Roger? Are you still playing?
No, not at all. No, my guitar's under the bed, untouched from the last gig 20 years ago.
Next to the potty.
Yeah. Not quite now. No, not now.
And do you miss it at all?
At times, yes, I would like to, but only to do certain types of music, I think. But seeing the film again, it sort of gets you excited about music again, I think. I would like to play again, but I'm so rusty, I don't know I could remember it.
And what of today?
I've got a family, decent house, nice wife. I'm taxi driving now, still as I was when I finished with the group. It's gone on a bit there, and I've made a bit more money now, earning a bit more money than I was with the group, which was absolutely nothing when we finished. We had nothing at all ready to show for it, except the experience.
And do you own your own taxi?
Yes, I own my own taxi now, yes. A real taxi.
My name's Roger, and I play bass guitar with the Span. And sometimes I sing. My ambition is to own a racing car and perhaps drive it.
A black cab?
Well, not a black one, but a proper taxi.
I'm Roscoe, and I'm the drummer of the Span. At the moment, I haven't any definite ambitions as to what to do.
How long did it take you to get back to being Gary?
Some time, because I still dabbled in music after the group disbanded. I met up with some old mates in the musical line, bummed a lift to Austria, and after several years in Austria, I found my wife, met my wife, got married. Our son was actually born in Austria as well, and then we came back to re-establish ourselves in England.
Why did you come back?
Very insecure in the sense that we couldn't find housing, no proper qualifications, which was necessary in Austria. You couldn't actually prove you could do a job and get on and do it. You have to have the bit of paper.
So you've been too long banging the skins and not
That's right. That's right.
burning the midnight oil on
That's right. Yeah.
teaching yourself
yeah.
something.
But I don't regret that. And if my son wanted to do the same, I'd say go ahead and do it while you're young. Don't do it now. In your 40s. That doesn't mean to say I wouldn't like to do it. Having the opportunity, I would still have a crack at it.
Have you been tempted?
Yes, but nobody's made me an offer.
We weren't very keen on Gary going into the pop business in the first place.
Roscoe, your parents still alive?
Yes.
Because they were hoping for a bungalow from you, weren't they?
Still hoping. Yeah, well, they're halfway there. They've got a flat. So it's on the same level, but not quite as luxurious.
Still in the same car,
yeah. And I didn't pay for it. They did.
Stuart, the money side of it, 20 years on, seems ludicrous now, doesn't it?
What was it, £7 a week? We were doing... We were ticking over on £7 a week.
That was a good week.
It must have been, yes. Yes, there were some pretty bad weeks too. But, the money does seem ludicrous, doesn't it? Looking back at that time. And all the promises that were made, as you say. They could be earning this, they could be earning that.
By the end of 1968, I want them to be earning $350 a night at least.
And how are you going to do that?
We're going to have records in the charts.
When the group folded, I'd always had this desire to work for the BBC. It went back long before the group, really.
Well, you knew that we paid you so much and so well, didn't you?
I think it was something to do with that, yes. Yeah, see, I was naive even then.
Did you make any money out of this film? I don't remember.
No.
Did we pay you?
No.
Probably, but we didn't see any of it.
Oh, you had a manager?
Yes,
we had a
right.
manager,
Yes.
yeah. And they're a very good group, and they're really going to hit the top in the next 12 months. I really guarantee you.
Did you really ever believe the Clayton hype?
He's quite a smooth talker. I don't think it was important. I think we believed what we wanted to believe. We can look at it now and laugh about it. And let's face it, we could have taken off without Mike Clayton. Honestly, they're fantastic. It's taken me a year to build them up like this. And I've got Brian on guitar there. He's an absolute knockout.
Does anybody know what happened to Mike Clayton?
No idea.
No, the rumour was that when he finished with the pop business, he opened a greengrocer's shop in Brighton.
In this country?
In Brighton.
Mm-hmm.
I've spoken to somebody who actually had a shop opposite him in the lanes of Brighton. But after that, he also thought that he went to Australia. So it seems to be the sense of opinion is that he's down under.
Not 6 feet.
Not 6 feet, no.
And so, after the show, how are things?
Bit duff, really, at the moment. We've had quite a few problems, unfortunately.
The thing is, we're all that much older, and as I can remember, it was music, 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 and there was no... We didn't think of the future. Now we're all married, got families, and life is different. I like the freedom in the 60s. I'm not the most responsible person, and I like that freedom that the 60s gave us. Whether the kids of today have got the same freedom, I don't think they've got quite the respect, and without getting too political, the sort of violence that we see today. Certainly wasn't around in our time, although there were a lot of drug-taking hippies.
Yes, it's sad the way the violence is going, and I don't know, people having a go at everything all the time. And also, I've never believed that British people have been positive enough about themselves. I think we've lost our patriotism in England. I don't know why exactly, but we don't seem to think enough of ourselves, I think, overall. And people who try and promote this seem to get shouted down at times, I think. And there's a lot of things wrong, I think, but socially rather than necessarily politically. Because, I mean, at one time we were Great Britain. I think we don't believe enough in ourselves now.
Now, if your children came to you and said, Dad, I want to join a pop group, what would you say?
Oh, I'd let them have a go.
Would you?
But try and get them a bit of advice, I think. Don't go into it too naively, as we've discussed already. Make sure you know what you're doing.
Do you think perhaps you were a bit nice as a group? You weren't quite aggressive enough. You didn't appeal to the kids as something rebellious and therefore wantable and lovable?
I think possibly, yes. I think perhaps if we lived, as Brian mentioned, in London and been the centre of the business, I suppose it could have been good and bad. So we might have got involved with the seamy side of the business. I always think back that perhaps I wouldn't like to think that I would ever succumb to the bad side of it, but it could have happened. And we could have gone the way of some of the famous names. It would have been very sad.
Looking at it honestly, were you any good?
I like to think I was, yes. I used to put as far as I'm concerned, everything into it.
We were a good group, but that we didn't have quite what it takes to be a really great group.
But at least you did tilt at the windmills. You had a go, didn't you?
Absolutely had a go.
As a piece of filmmaking, was it in any way dishonest?
No, I don't think we were stitched up at all as a group. I don't think some of the publicists and that were quite honest with what they were saying about us. But I think we went through it completely as we would have done, the four of us. We carried on the life. We didn't get any benefit from the film. We carried on the course the group was going, whatever happened. It's just a lot of people let us down.
I think with all documentaries, you have to decide on the story and go for the story. And there were times when certainly people were saying things which we know were not true, but the viewer wouldn't know that those things were not true.
But you wouldn't have expected me, the confidant of all of you, to tell you that I think you're being stitched up at some stage through that filming, because it would have affected the course of whatever actions you were going to take.
Of course, yes. You would have been able to do so, and I suspect saw us being stitched up. But you're right, yes, you as a filmmaker could not make that move. What surprised me about the film at the time, our particular film was the first in the series which was shown, and as a result, there was a lot about it in the papers the next day. What I did find interesting, there was not a mention about it in the music press, not at all. And I think that if there is a reason, it's probably that it actually got a little too near the truth.
So here now, Leviathon end tonight's lineup for us with a piece written by their lead singer, Stuart Hobday. It's called Remember the Times.
But you realise also the film wouldn't have been as much fun if you'd been successful.
No, there is that.
Everybody loves a really good loser.
And were we good losers?
Well, that's a final point.
I'm traipsing around all the agencies and nobody wants to know. Nobody will give us a job.
Well, if it goes on for very much longer like this, I'm afraid I'm going to have to chuck it in.
We've even had to change our name now to Leviathon.
We haven't had any work for a whole month now. We're absolutely broke. It's bloody horrible at the moment. Terrible.